With the second generation Moto 360 recently released by Motorola, we thought it would be a good idea to review the first generation smartwatch so that we can have a baseline measure to compare to once we've had the chance to take a look at the second generation watch. We've been using the Moto 360 for a little while now and have had the chance to see the positives and negatives of this watch. We'll start with the positives first. So, the first one would probably have to be the overall design of the watch. This thing is really nice. We weren't very big fans of the square or rectangular designs of many other smartwatches, but the Moto 360's circular design looks great. Some people have complained about the fact that it's not technically 360 degrees because of the little black bar at the bottom, which, by the way, is a necessary inclusion in order for the ambient light sensor to function, but we actually didn't notice it at all past the first few days of use, and it didn't get in the way of the watch face. The metal design of the back of the watch is nice, and it has a good feel to it as well. And the screen is pretty clear, though with a 320 by 290 resolution, the pixel density isn't the greatest, and you can clearly see some pixels if you do look close enough. Additionally, there's a bent glass edge around the whole watch face, which we found actually blurs the images around the border of the watch, and that's something we found to be quite noticeable. Nonetheless, though, the screen is fairly crisp and sufficient for everyday use. Finally, the leather strap is great as well, though we feel like it might eventually have some wear and tear with everyday use, especially if you have to take the watch off and put it back on to charge so often. Which brings us to the next positive: battery life. I know most people have heard it sucks, and well, it sorta does, but we found that the battery life is actually better than many of the other smartwatches on the market. It won't get you a week of use, and most likely it won't even get you 2 full days. But with light to moderate use, we found that the watch will probably get you a day and a half before it needs to be charged. Heavy users will probably have to charge the watch every day, but we didn't usually find that it ran out of juice halfway through the day or anything like that, so no need to worry about the watch dying midday, especially if you had it at 100% to start in the morning. Finally, price. Okay, so $199 Canadian plus tax isn't the least amount of money you can dish out on the watch. But compared to other higher end options, the $199 price point isn't actually all that bad. Of course, if you're buying the watch just so you can check the time, you're better off putting your money to better use and buying a regular brand name watch. But if you're looking to have access to a lot of cell phone functions from your wrist, this is a pretty good price. Not only are you able to play music, check and respond to messages, check your calendar, access Google Maps, and check your heart rate, but you can link to many other apps within your cell phone via Android Wear, which is the software platform of the Moto 360. Okay, so that's all good and well, but is there anything bad? Well, sure there is. Smartwatches are nowhere near being a primetime tech product, so there are definitely some things that will make you shy away from buying the Moto 360. The first and probably most important is that while the watch is normally pretty quick, there are times where it lags quite a bit. We found that this was mostly when we were first turning on the screen after it had been asleep. It sort of feels like the watch has to play catch up for the first few seconds before it actually starts running at full power. There were other times where it would lag or glitch when using the OK Google function, but not too many of those instances. Also, we found that we had a little bit of trouble linking the watch to the phone, and it took a few tries and the changing of some features within the Android Wear app on our smartphone in order to be able to access all the functions within the watch. For the record, we paired the watch with a OnePlus One smartphone and with a Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. Both of them eventually did work, but it was a bit of a hassle and it wasn't as easy as we thought it would be at first. Some of the issues actually seemed to fix themselves after we disconnected and reconnected the watch, so maybe just a few glitches there. Finally, we found a few of the features of the watch to be lacking. For example, while the Moto 360 does have a heart rate monitor, we weren't able to take online active readings of our heart rate, meaning that the watch would simply take a heart rate measurement, display it, and then stop. It wasn't able to take a changing heart rate, which would have been really beneficial if, say, one wants to check their heart rate response with exercise without having to press remeasure every few seconds. Now, while there are obviously a few issues with the watch, we actually found that some of them, like battery life and overall performance, were improved after we updated to the latest software of Android Wear. Still, the watch does leave a little bit to be desired. So overall, the first generation Moto 360 is probably one of the better smartwatches of its time, but if you're looking for a perfect product, you're not going to find it in this watch. And as we mentioned earlier, the concept of a smartwatch itself hasn't been fully perfected yet. But perhaps the second generation Moto 360 will bring us a little bit closer. Stay tuned for that one, as we will have the review video for that up shortly. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all soon.